Ukraine targets Moscow in one of the largest ever drone attacks as fighting rages in Kursk and eastern Ukraine. Hezbollah fires more than 50 rockets hitting Golan Heights in Israel. And yes, she can. Barack Obama praises Kamala Harris, says US ready for new chapter. PDP's chief spokesperson Suhail Bukhari quit the party ahead of the assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir. And we are starting our special series on Jammu and Kashmir elections, which are going to be historic. The first after abrogation of Article and first after division of the state into union territories. This is an election which will take place in absence of Article 370. Suhail is a journalist and politician who closely worked with PDP President Mehbooba Mufti. He also served as an advisor when she was the Chief Minister. Let's directly speak to Suhail Bukhari in this special edition of On Point on Kashmir elections. Welcome, Suhail. And let me start the interview straight away by asking you, why did you quit PDP?
Well, thank you, Kartikeya. The reason for me calling it a day in PDP is more ideological than anything else. Remember, I joined this party formally in January of 2019. That's slightly more than 5 years now. That was the time when the government was gone, and there was an effort by the central government and BJP to ensure that PDP is disintegrated as a party. And the efforts made by these institutions ensured that no less than 42 leaders from a small regional party left, which also included 21 members of the last assembly, many of them ministers in the cabinet or otherwise. And that was the time when, Mehbooba Mufti Sahiba gave a war cry that, we have to stand for the rights of the people and against whatever is being perpetrated on the people of Jammu and Kashmir in terms of their rights being snatched and, all the atrocities, quote unquote, that have been happening. For me, it was a very, personal decision. I wanted to be part of that struggle for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and so I started that journey. Over a period of time, we have seen that many people stood by the party, most of them youngsters, educated people from various parts of Jammu and Kashmir. And, they went through most difficult times because being associated with a mainstream political party, which is rooted in Kashmir particularly, and more so, People's Democratic Party, meant that you were taking a lot of risk and you were ready to take trouble. But of late, what I have seen is that those people who stood by the party, particularly youngsters from across the valley, from various constituencies, they have been neglected. And the people who had left the party at that point in time seem to be getting the space back. These are the same people who we would call traitors to the cause of Kashmir, because they played into the hands of BJP and the central government and left the party, and also somehow were tools in the hands of government of India to portray the fictitious narrative of normalcy in Kashmir. So this has been very disheartening. Hence, I was not comfortable and I put in my papers.
A lot of people were of the view that you were unhappy that the focus of the party was on Iltija and not on other leaders when Mehbooba Mufti was out in wilderness.
No, that's far from truth. Iltija is a wonderful political activist, social activist, and nobody should take away the credit from her for representing the sentiments of not only the people in the party, but whole of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly through that phase of 2019 August, when the Article 370 and 35A were abrogated. The whole Jammu and Kashmir, Kashmir particularly, was left incommunicado. There was no internet service, and people were put in jails. Nobody was allowed to speak, and during that time, we must give credit where it is due. Iltija Mufti rose to the occasion and she not only spoke as the daughter of Mehbooba Mufti, but also an ordinary Kashmirian for everybody in Jammu and Kashmir. Telling the whole world as to what was being
Sohail, if
perpetrated
you
on the
have,
people of Jammu.
Sohail, if you have such soft view on Iltija and Mehbooba Mufti, may I ask you that what just prompted you to just leave right before the election? This decision could have come 6 months earlier. The feeling of being abandoned.
No, it was not personal. To be honest, I am the chief spokesperson of the party. I had been, sorry, and I was at the top position in the party. But the fact remains, it was not about me. It was about so many of our youngsters who had joined the party, who were part of the party through very difficult times, from very difficult constituencies like Tral,
So,
Pampur, Pulwama,
are you saying, Sohail, are you saying that the youngsters have been ignored in PDP?
I would say that many youngsters who stood by the party ensured that party stood and existed through these difficult times in various constituencies of Kashmir. Many of them have been ignored, yes.
Sohail, both.
Some had been away for a while, and come elections, BJP does want to get its mechanics of political management and election management into place. And since these elections are going to be very, very crucial, given that these are the first assembly elections post 2019, the abrogation and all, and the kind of message, which I personally believe is a false narrative, that sab changa si, everything is hunky dory, as far as the people of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and they are like so happy with what has happened. These elections are very important. The assembly that it throws up is very important. So BJP is not going to leave any stone unturned, particularly in the backdrop of the fact that many of the proxy parties that
So Aditya,
the last Lok Sabha.
am I audible to you? Okay. So Aditya, Sohail has been saying that the youngsters had been ignored in PDP. Is it correct?
Well, there's been a feeling. There's been a feeling that ever since Iltija has come in, and she doesn't have much experience, of campaigning on the ground. Although over the last 5 years she has been on her mother's side, and now officially she is the media advisor to the former chief minister and the chief of the PDP, Mehbooba Mufti. But the question really is that does she have first the political acumen to take this battle straight against the BJP and others in Jammu and Kashmir, and to take the entire party together. Remember, Mufti Mohammad Said was of a completely different breed. He was a very different politician. People liked him, people disliked him, but he stood his ground, and he was the chief minister, and he has his ways with different political leaders of different ideologies. So he was one rare politician, perhaps even Farooq Abdullah to a great extent, but I don't think this new generation has been able to grasp that level of politics.
Sohail, when Ram Madhav came, a new crop of politicians were being prepared. But one thing is for sure, that in Kashmir, older political parties have their stakes. New politicians are powerful on social media, but they have not been able to create political offshoots. So in this case, do you see any possibility of a third front, Congress, NC, or a fourth front, Congress, NC and PDP, a fourth political player apart from BJP?
See, anybody who knows Kashmir and its electoral politics would know that there is anti-establishment sentiment that does exist, no matter what. You've seen that happen in the recent elections, wherein Engineer Rashid, who is languishing in jail, decides to contest parliament elections. Within 7 days of campaigning, with no resources being pumped on the ground, he defeats the mightiest of the mighty in the electoral politics, which included the bigwigs like Omar Abdullah Saab and also Sajjad Ghani Lone. And remember, Sajjad Ghani Lone and Altaf Bukhari Saab, they had come together in this election. And there's absolutely no secret about the fact that, these are the parties which have been helped big time by the government. So it's not about young lot or new political parties coming together. People here are politically mature. They see through the mechanics that are being employed, and they are wise enough to take calls accordingly.
So what is your future? Is it Congress?
I have not taken a decision yet. I have left it to my people, particularly in my constituency. Whatever they decide, whatever they think is the right way to
So are you
go,
saying that they're
I
going to
would.
take a call between Ram and Rahul?
Well, definitely there's no call between Ram and Rahul. Ram is not even an option. But definitely whatever they think is going to be
Rahul is
better
an
for our
option.
people.
Rahul is an option?
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Rahul is an option. You have spoken about the political aspect, but there is one thing which is very surprising, which came to fore in the Lok Sabha. Successful story, but engineer Rashid did a surprise in the Lok Sabha election. Are we supposed to get a new surprise in the assembly also? Unexpected wins?
See, too early to speculate on that. Remember these elections when they happened in the Lok Sabha, these were the first elections post abrogation. The people, it was the beginning of the reclaiming of the democratic rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And probably knowing that the BJP, which has been creating a false narrative of people of JMK are so happy about what we did to them, they did not dare to even field their candidates in Kashmir Valley on 3 seats. The people at large came out in huge numbers, expressed their views electorally, and I guess that was against what the BJP had done.
Okay.
Now, it would be very interesting to see if there are going to be any more surprises in these elections. That we'll have to wait for one moment.
I'll take one quick reaction from Aditya, then I'll come to you, Suhail. I'll come to you for the most pertinent question, the most important question. So Aditya, everything is getting firmed up. Ram Madhav is there, Rahul Gandhi is there. But the important aspect of this election is, what in your opinion would be the grand game in Kashmir? The last grand game was no government possible without BJP. What will be the grand game this time?
Well, many feel right now, many normal watchers of Kashmir feel that NC is on a very strong wicket, and perhaps there will be an NC and a larger India alliance government there, because they would of course be short of majority, and they will need Congress and perhaps PDP and some independents supporting them. But let's not rule out that there is Ram Madhav who is there, who had very interesting negotiations with the PDP at that particular time. I remember I was covering it very closely with Hasid Rabu. They had this joint, kind of a declaration, a common minimum program. And then he had close ties with Sajad Lone and others as well, who Suhail spoke about. So let's not completely rule out, because BJP has a strong chance on close to 30 seats in Jammu. And if they have some independents supporting or some farishta coming in from somewhere, you never know. But as of now, of course, there's no doubt about it that National Conference is the strongest party right now in the Kashmir Valley and will perhaps call the shots. But let's remember that there is this name of Engineer Rashid that we are discussing time and again. He came out as a surprise because not many had predicted that he will get a mammoth victory, Kartikeya, in North Kashmir. Umar Abdullah had to lose. Will he now contest these elections? Not he, but on his behalf, his brother, his son, his other family members and friends, will they contest elections? Even if they do on 5 to 10 seats across North Kashmir, I think it would be huge.
Okay, so since you are not in any political party, you can be forthright with me as Suhail. Which political party has an advantage today in Kashmir?
First, I would just want to bring you up to date with what our friend was saying. He was saying whether the family of Engineer Rashid would contest in some parts of North. The latest is that there are many people who are joining Engineer Rashid's party, and surprisingly, from the heartland in South Kashmir.
Exactly.
We have recently seen, in fact, yesterday seen people joining in Tral, in Pahapur. Yes. We might see some more. So my understanding is that Engineer Rashid's party is going to contest at many instances, and this would not be geographically limited to north of Kashmir. But, organizationally speaking, I would agree with Aditya that National Conference is a very strong party. Congress seems to be, making good inroads. There seems to be stability and upward movement. And of course,
who is going to be the number one party? Who is going to be number one party in JNK? Jammu and Kashmir.
I am not into psephology.
You're a
I'm
former
not gonna talk
journalist,
about
you're a lapsed journalist, a
No,
functional
but-
politician. But go back to your lapsed journalist part and tell me, we have worked together.
No, no, I would rather want to, not comment on that as to in terms of numbering as to who would be the number one,
Okay.
number two.
Which is on the, which is the most enabled of them all? Okay, let me put it more politely.
Well, look at the last numbers from the Lok Sabha elections, and also look at the robustness of the organizational structure. These are two very important aspects that ought to be taken into consideration. National Conference, Congress definitely are among the top priorities. People's Democratic Party too must not be wished away. They have done the party has done really good in last Lok Sabha elections. As you take the point of reference, the last elections that had happened, from almost 1 lakh votes that the party had got, it has now breached 4 lakh, despite all odds.
Okay.
So nothing to take away from the PDP as well. But again, as I said, I mean, a lot happens, and at the end of the
Okay.
day, it's about
Okay.
how people
Okay.
respond to a particular sentiment.
At the end of the, thank you Suhail. But at the end of the interview, I would say best of luck for the new venture. You have not denied the possibility of joining the Congress. Rahul Gandhi is in Kashmir. He will be holding a meeting, and we'll be waiting for the news. Thank you so much for joining me in this edition of On Point. But don't go away, because we'll be back with more, and we'll talk about Ram and Rahul in Kashmir.